Yo, what's up, guys? Doing something a little different today. It is November 4th, practically winter, and I live in Connecticut, which is New England. I'll show you. I'm at a park right now, but hold on, let me zoom out. I'm working on the shaking, guys. I really am. But November 12th, leaves are almost down already. Look at this park, by the way. This is where I come to think. And then this little strip right here is where I gun it. In my town, the cops are pretty bad, so you gotta be careful. But it's like 70 degrees out right now, man. This is unbelievable. I'm just at this park with my baby for probably the last time at this setup. I did a video a couple weeks ago about the future of my baby, my 1-to-1 scale model kit, I call it. Her name is actually Sherry. I'm pretty sure you can figure out where I got that name from. Sherry to Cherry. I know, it's not the best, but I don't know if you guys know, I had a blue SI too, the Electron Blue Pearl. I called it Blurple, because it's bluish purple. That was my dream car since I was like 13, and assumed that I would get it in high school, have the money to mod it up, and then reality hit. But I finally ended up getting the blue SI, completely stock, which is almost better than getting one modded up because that's how rare they are. And 3 months later, it was stolen out of my driveway in a small town. Found 2 days later, completely stripped. I mean, guys, they even took the window washer reservoir fluid. Yeah, I'm gonna let that sink in for a minute. So, it took me 1.5 years to find this red one. By the way, the blue one I drove 4.5 hours to get that in upstate New Hampshire. This one I drove 2.5 hours to get. And what I'm about to say right now, I don't care, because you guys are about to some of you guys are about to bash me for this, but I don't care, because if you guys have seen any of my videos, you know that I'm not that kind of guy who's gonna overly brag and brandish how great and everything is about my lifestyle or whatever. No, fuck all that. It's a nice car. It's not the best, but I bought it with this turbo setup. Now, like I said, fill in the comments here with all the hate, but when I got my insurance money for that car, like I said, it took me 1.5 years to find another SI. I didn't even know this one was turbo till I showed up, actually. And once I saw it and how well it was done, I just couldn't say no to that. You know, with the money I got from my insurance, I couldn't have found another one better than this. So that's the reason I did it. Now, the person I bought it from didn't beat on it, but they weren't a true Honda fan like I am. So I basically have changed almost everything cosmetic about it, and as well as all the turbo piping, all that stuff. It's the same car, but it's completely different setup from what it is. So I did my own thing to it. But in Connecticut, you have to, like I said, I made this video before, so this is not really, you know, a repeat. I'm just kind of covering the basis on it. But you got to pass emissions every 2 years. I used to have my, you know, I'm 27 right now, but I was very close to my father. I worked with him. He was like my best friend, and he was like, you know, a handyman mentor. He knew a lot of things. He grew up in a different age than we did today, you know. We have a week off today. We're on freaking the internet and Xbox all week. He's, you know, grew up in an age where he'd be in the garage, you know, doing an oil change for no freaking reason in the middle of January. So it helped that I have him to do that. Now that I don't, it's a lot harder to do shit on this car. I mean, like I said, I love this stuff. I have a true passion for it, and I have a pretty good knowledge of it, but I'm not the hands-on type guy. I mean, I can do basic things, you know, maybe more than some of you guys even, but I'm not the kind of guy who's gonna get in there and do like a freaking head gasket change or whatever, things like that too. So I'm making this video longer than it needs to be. The point of this is basically I'm taking off the turbo. I'm putting it back to stock. I've thought about it long and hard. Like, I still don't, I'm about 80% sure I'm making the right decision on this, but it's more than just the look. I mean, than the turbo and the speed. I don't really race it. I don't, you know, like my turbo use is from red light to red light, you know, hitting it 6,000 RPM for, you know, 10 seconds, whatever. But it's just not worth it anymore with the 2 years emissions. I mean, this car is a 99, so it still has another 5-6 years before it can be, you know, granted by the state of Connecticut as no longer having to get emissions. So, and it's my daily driver. You know, before when I was working with my FOP's company, we had a company car. Now that I'm gonna have to get another job, I'm probably gonna have to use this all year long. So it just makes sense, especially at this stage in this life. You know, it's a 15-year-old Honda, the turbo has been on almost 10 years now. I feel like I don't want to push it to the point where I break it and I can't get any money back out of it, you know? I'm about to switch up my style and go more show than go, which is basically done though. I'm not doing any more cosmetic stuff to the car. One of my fans recommended that I smoke out the headlights, but not a chance in hell for multiple reasons. I just bought these. They're hyper white, which makes the car give it a fresh new look to the front end. With all these LED lights out there and everything now, this car, it's aged very, very well, as you can see in terms of the looks, but those new headlights really freshen it up. And the third reason is everyone who hooks up a Civic has smoked or, you know, black housing headlights. I don't want to be like anybody else, you know. If you could look around, this is a pretty unique setup. I mean, yeah, I have some nice aftermarket wheels on it, but they're not ridiculously slammed to the ground, cambered, rubbing to the point where you can't even literally drive the car. There's a red one that looks just like this on YouTube. I was watching the video, forgot the guy's name. It looks absolutely incredible, guys, but it's literally undrivable the way he did his camber and his wheel setup. You know, these are 16x7s. He had 16x10s on it, so you got, you know, it's just, I mean, even this, you can see it's close. You know, you add a few people in this car and all of a sudden this thing is hanging low. So my boy Luke Christopher on in the music. Here my subs bouncing. Got the rear lip on there, which a lot of people don't have either. So looks wise is basically done. You know, once I want to basically get this engine back to stock, and that'll help me just future selling it maybe, but I don't plan on selling this car. I think if I was going to sell it, I would sell it with the current setup. That's how I'd get my money back, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to run this car into the ground, you know. But I've never had this car. Remember, I only had my blue one for 3 months, and you know, my first car I was at 18, so I wasn't, you know, I didn't appreciate it in terms of the engine like I should have. I'm dying to see what this thing can do NA in terms of revving it up, because when you have a turbo and a VTEC, it kind of contradicts himself a little, because my VTEC will kick in at 5,500 RPMs, which basically turns it from like a 4-cylinder to like a V6. I don't know if you guys know much about VTEC. I'm assuming you do, but and then the turbo kicks in at 3,000 RPM. So like I said, I don't be doing high-end top speed races. From light to light, by the time my turbo kicks in and by the time my VTEC kicks in, I'm already at 45, 50 miles an hour with the turbo setup. So I don't really get to get the true VTEC experience along with the iconic VTEC sound. And yeah, laugh at me all you want, but you know, the true VTEC sound. I don't get that with this because of the turbo and stuff like that. So I'm very excited to get it back to stock, high revving it, things along those lines too. So that's basically my decision to why I'm putting it back to stock. You know, I'm gonna keep all the equipment in case, you know, 4 or 5 years down the line I meet the right people, I get enough knowledge, I get enough time and money that I may put it back. But like I said too, guys, I also have a 1990 300ZX twin turbo, which is already started, you know, stage 2. It's 350, 400 horsepower by now, so, which was my dad's that I now have too. So I can use that as my turbo, my beater up, you know, my speed demon. And I'll just have this be I'm gonna call my ladies car, you know. I'll let you guys self-proclaim the name of it. Last thing too, I don't mean to sound like a dick, but if you ask me for shit, I'm not gonna give it to you. I ain't trying to be disrespectful, nothing like that, but I've had a couple people, and I'm not bashing you guys. I love you for watching my videos, because some of you guys are my biggest, you know, supporters on it. But don't ask me for shit, you know. I'm not a huge YouTube channel. I may look like I got a lot of money, but I don't. I'm dead broke, guys. This car has already been paid for 8 years ago. My model kits are paid for when I had my job and all that shit. I'm selling all that shit now to make money back. So it's not like I can just go out there and give away free model kits and things like that. Yeah, I'll do them from time to time, but don't send me information on something and then expect me to give you a free kit out of that. I mean, that's not me being an asshole. That's just realistic things, you know. It's just so. I'm pissed I missed out on an eBay auction, but I'll make another video about that. But all right, guys, this video is getting way too long. All right, so I just wanted to explain that. If you guys have any comments or anything on terms of going back to NA and things like that, let me know. I'd love to hear you guys' feedback. Thanks, guys.